the two monkeys had breakfast together, and Winston gobbled his food so that he got twice as much as Edward. And when the bananas were all gone, Winston hung by his tail and talked of his life and his adventures in the grind organ business. "Eddie, my boy," said Winston, "I don't know how you stand living in this cage, nor why you do it. A monkey with your personality and charm should be out in the world. It's easy enough to get along. All that you have to do is imitate the people that you see, and you'll be a great success." At this point, the grind organ began to play, and Winston leaped to his feet. "Oh, dear," he said, "my assistant has gone back to work, and I must go and keep an eye on him. If I don't, he may make off with some of the pennies. This has been charming. Thank you so much, and goodbye." Then he dashed away, leaving Edward so discontented with his own little life that he could have wept. Shortly after that, a grave-looking gentleman came into the shop, and as he strolled about looking at the dogs and the cats and the canary bird, he would take off his hat, fan himself a little, and put his hat back on his head. Edward watched him closely, and when he came to Edward's cage, he did the same thing. Immediately, Edward picked up his banana dish, put it on his head like a hat, took it off, fanned himself a little, put it back on his head, and made a face. The grave-looking gentleman laughed right out loud and said, "How much is this monkey?" Well, to make a long story short, the grave-looking gentleman bought Edward and took him home to live with him. Edward was pleased and proud. In fact, he was so pleased and proud that he didn't mind in the least when he discovered that a grind organ was not included with the grave-looking gentleman. Edward's new home was really quite wonderful. He didn't have to live in a cage at all, and he was free to wander all over the house. The grave-looking gentleman bought him a collar with his name on it, a cap, a coat, and some trousers, and very often gave him fresh strawberries in thick syrup. That was all very fine, but Edward found that the collar was a bit uncomfortable, and the coat and trousers were a bit too warm, and although the hat was charming, it was a frightful nuisance, because everyone who saw him in it expected him to tip it, and it kept him much too busy. One of the things that he minded most of all was the fact that he had no swing, and there was really no place where he could hang by his tail. Doorknobs, he found, were most unsatisfactory, as they were much too close to the floor. Edward did his best to imitate everything that the grave-looking gentleman did. He watched the gentleman writing at his desk, dipping his pen in the ink and glossing the paper. He watched him reading a book and eating chocolates at the same time. He watched him put the stopper in the sink and turn on the water to wash. He watched him taking the teacups from the shelf and setting them on the table. And one day, when the grave-looking gentleman was out visiting, Edward decided to show what a bright monkey he was by doing all of these things.